I'm Honora Gathings. I'm a reporter and anchor at ABC 3340.
I'm Chris Cull, General Manager at Williams Porsche-Audi.
I understand you're a newcomer to Birmingham.
Yeah. Just moved here about, I guess it was 8 to 9 months ago. Was in Nashville, Tennessee, and moved to Nashville right when I got out of college. So, good city, good place. I like Birmingham, a lot of good people.
Did you come for the job, or?
Yeah, for the job. We're part of a company that owns dealerships in 15 states across the country, and then they just said, "Hey, we need you to move to Birmingham."
What were your initial thoughts? Okay, we need to move.
Well, at first I was like, "No, I'm not doing it," because I had a condo on Music Row.
Oh my gosh. Nice.
Walked everything I needed.
Well, everything's right there.
Yeah, everything was right there.
Especially being young, because all the bars, all the restaurants, everyone is.
That's
right.
I had a great routine, and I just worked so hard to get this place going when I was there, and they're building new stores for it and all that stuff anyways, but long story short, they said, "Hey, we need you to move to Birmingham." So I said, "Well, okay, I guess I have to." So I sold my condo in a week and moved here 5 days.
A week?
Yeah.
We're thinking about getting rid of our house. Can you handle our house?
I had it was a great place. I miss it. But literally, I drove down here. I was on my iPhone and found Hallman Hill and called them and moved there in like 2 days.
How is that? I mean, because when I moved here, they were still working on building it, and now it's up, and I've seen pictures, and it looks absolutely magnificent.
It's good. It's good. I like it a lot. It's again, I had a great place in Nashville.
Okay, you're not in Nashville. But downtown Homewood is fun. I mean, the Soho and the whole downtown area for years. There's always been so much to do in terms of shopping. Well, probably not shopping for you, but for us ladies, restaurants. Savages is an amazing bakery, and then you've got the park nearby. And have you been to Steel City Pops?
Is that the popsicle place? Yeah. I love popsicles. Yeah, they're good.
Yeah, someone introduced me, and I'm there way too much. I'm kind of scared to find out how many calories are actually.
No, you can't worry about that kind of stuff. You just gotta go with it. But it's great. I love that area. Birmingham in itself is very, to me, spread out versus, everything I did was in one place essentially in Nashville. It's downtown. The downtown scene is much different. But I really do enjoy Birmingham so far. I work so much though, I really don't know pretty much anything about it.
But that's okay. You just moved here. It's getting warmer. That means in the spring there's a lot of events that go on. I mean, the Zim of Art has events going on at night. There's cocktails in the gardens at Botanical Gardens. There's now Uptown that's starting to open with the Todd English Pub.
Sorry.
Okay. You should go.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's a lot of things. And then, have you been to Railroad Park? Probably not. You should go to Railroad Park. The Barons are moving there next month.
Yeah. I went up here and saw the new deal that they're doing.
And the park is really, really nice because it actually, you don't feel like you're in downtown Birmingham anymore. It feels like a true metropolitan city park. I mean, people drive from hours away just to use the park, and periodically the food trucks show up there, so you kind of feel, like you're in a little bigger city than Birmingham.
That's good.
There are things to do here.
Yeah, it seems like it. I'm getting used to it, so.
And the beach is closer. If you're going to the beach,
that's true. Much closer. Very true. I like that. It's much closer. I go to the beach quite a bit, so the drive's much shorter.
You might take a little opportunity now to talk about kind of what you guys do in your professions. Just some stuff about that. Yeah.
Let's talk.
Talk a little bit more. Just ask each other kind of what is it that you guys do, and what are your responsibilities and stuff like that.
That's a bit vague.
That's right. Well, you can. If it's a bit vague, you can say it's kind of a bit vague. But
talk about what you like about what you do.
Yeah,
is one thing, and see how it goes.
Yeah.
So let's go with you first.
Oh gosh, my job is complicated. I report 4 days a week, and then I anchor on Sundays for ABC 3340. I cover the really fun beats. The things that I like to cover, but I know there are things that most people kind of maybe tune out, but I cover Jefferson County politics. You probably are not aware, but Jefferson County is in bankruptcy. It's the largest municipal bankruptcy in the
I've read all
nation.
about it.
Okay, good. Okay, good. Thank you. So that I spend a lot of time going through court documents and keeping up with that. But I cover that. I cover the legislature, which has gotten quite interesting with this recent Alabama Accountability Act that kind of got shoved through in a matter of hours. I don't know. What do you want to know about?
I mean, I guess.
It's not as glamorous as everyone thinks it is. I mean, we don't have hair people, we don't have makeup people. We just don't show up and everything's magically there. We just, we don't show up and just sit on TV and go. We usually have to beg and plead and knock on doors and try to get people to.
What do you like most about your job?
I love that no 2 days are ever the same.
That's great.
I mean, you go into work and you have no idea how you know how your day's gonna start. You show up at work, but you don't know where you can end up. I mean, you could end up on the Gulf Coast, covering a disaster, or you could, end up 2 hours away, or, talking to this young child that's doing something absolutely incredible. Or you could have one of those days where your stories just don't ever turn, and so you go through like 4 different stories, and I don't know, I like it because it's so unpredictable. You get to see things that ordinarily would not get to see, and you get to meet people that I can assure you would never meet in day-to-day life, and some of those people are just absolutely incredible and inspiring, and it just makes the long hours and everything so worth it.
Yeah, it makes it worth it. What do you least like about it?
The hours.
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
I know that.
It's, news happens on a 24-hour, 365-day cycle, and so you do work holidays. So I actually love being back home in Birmingham. My parents live a few minutes away, and so even if I have to work a holiday, I can still find that time where we can get together as a family and sit down and eat and be loud and obnoxious and opinionated like we are. But, the hours, and then you don't have a lot of control over where you live.
Yeah.
News is like a giant network, and you've got to start at really small towns that you've never heard of before, and then slowly work your way up to where you want to be. So... Some things about it are frustrating, but okay, you get to work with really nice, fun cars. I mean, how did you get into that?
I had no desire to get into the business I'm in originally. I was in college, getting ready to go to grad school. I interned with U.S. Attorney in Oxford, Mississippi, and went to Ole Miss. And a guy that's like my dad, that's with our company, he said, he'd been poking at me about it for a long time, and he said, you need to get into this business because you'd be good at it. And I said, who wants to go sell cars? That's what that's honestly how I looked at it. I said, why would I go to college and do this? So at the very last minute in July, right after I graduated, he said, you know what, you can move to Nashville because we have stores all in Nashville. And he said, if you do that, he said, you'll have fun. It's great. And it's not what you think it is. So I said, well, okay, I'll give it a try. He talked me into it, and it's probably the best decision I made at this point in my life. It's a great business, especially when it's structured, by a corporate company versus a privately owned store. But it's given me the opportunity to do a lot of things I probably could have never imagined doing. I've gotten to travel all over the world and see and do things with car manufacturers and stuff like that I would have never gotten to ever do probably. So it's pretty neat.
What's the most interesting place you've been to?
Probably the most memorable place since that had to do with my job. I flew into London, and then we got on a plane, and then we flew to Ivalo, Finland, to a private ice lake that Porsche they own the land, and it's a private airport, everything. You can't get there hardly. To drive cars across this frozen lake.
You drove cars across?
To test them. That's where they secretly test cars. And, I thought, man, who gets to do this kind of stuff every day? They wake up, they literally, we fly on a plane into this little bitty hut of an airport, and I thought, and it snows as high as these ceilings, and they pick us up in this car and take us through these woods, and then it's just this huge frozen lake. And they have all these cars lined up, and they said, okay, we need you to drive them as fast and as hard as you can across this lake and see if anything goes wrong.
Oh my gosh. So was that terrifying, or was that like every,
no, I mean,
the young child, the young boy in you was like, yes.
I mean, who gets to just tear up, $150,000 cars? I mean, they just didn't care. They're like, hey, just give it all it has, And then after that, I flew to Cape Town and got to test them like in desert-like conditions. So I've gotten to do a lot of neat things like that. That's, someone like me traveling like that and just getting to do fun things like that and experience things that in different cultures that you always want to do. It's just been a experience of a lifetime. So
that is absolutely incredible.
It's a fun part of our business.
Now, how can I get a job doing that? I can't drive sticks, and that's probably a problem.
I thought, what better thing for someone that, you get to travel and say, hey, you're going to get to drive exotic cars and
in exotic locations.
So it's fun. I enjoy getting people and helping them make more money, get to see them take their families on vacation, get to see them grow as individuals. So, at the end of the day, it's not always about the money, it's about helping others, and that's probably what I enjoy most about my job. But, it is a lot of long hours, especially when you're coming to a place that's, you're trying to build.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's what, that's what was tough about leaving Nashville. It was the last store our company acquired, and I gave everything I could to help build it up, and we got it to a level that, it could basically run on its own, and they're building $20 million stores now and moving everything and all this stuff. So you work so hard to get something to that point, and then they say, hey, you got to go start all over again, do it again.
But isn't the challenge fun?
The challenge of it is fun.
I mean, I know the hours and then the management part of that, the just tough decisions is not so much fun.
No, it's not, and especially if you work so hard you put all your time into something. That was what's tough about leaving Nashville. Was I thought, man, I spent all this time getting it to this point, and I gotta go do it again. But that's that, and at the same time, it's I feel like it's partly a compliment too, because it means that they trust me to go do the right thing, and that they feel I can change the business.
So where do you go from? I mean, you're general manager. Do you stay here for the rest of your life, or is there like a next step?
Yeah, and our company has a different corporate structure. So after general manager, we have 135 stores. So there's 135 general managers. We have right after that, it's called a regional vice president. We have 5 regions across the country, and then after that, our home office is in Charlotte. So we have some regional positions. I probably wouldn't want to do them.
I'm assuming it's a lot of travel.
Well, it's a lot of travel. The travel part of it doesn't necessarily bother me so much, but it's one of those things that I'd rather either just stay a general manager or go to the home office. I don't really want to be a regional person. So.
Nothing wrong with that at all.
So that's kind of my aspirations, I guess. Hopefully, one day I'll get there. I feel like I've got enough time. So.
Yeah. Well, it was really nice meeting you. I enjoyed talking to you, and I mean, whenever you have time, just take time just to explore the city, drive around. There are things to do here.
Nice meeting you as well. I appreciate it, and hopefully talk again sometime soon.
Absolutely.